I was going to leave, but I had to come back.
Good evening. First of all, thank
That's
you
exactly
to all the
what I
parents.
thought.
Thank you to everyone who took the time off and come over here to express their concerns.
Listen to
Second,
this.
we believe in democracy. The minute we voted you in here, your title changed from candidates to trustees. But apparently you broke that trust. These books that are in concerns have been in our libraries since 2019.
This shit is deep and corrupt.
Through a Sora collection purchase via Wayne County. And this is something that we have to talk to the commissioner of Wayne County, how these purchases are taking place. But the process that Dr. Glenn Blakio proposed, apparently it's been in practice, in place before. So that process failed. That process failed to vet these books and remove them from our libraries. I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about libraries and the books in the libraries.
Listen to what he got.
But I want to mention this process is so complicated and it's not going to serve our community whatsoever. And if it's good, it could have been prevented these books from coming to our libraries back in 2019.
Yeah, get into it.
One thing that I have to highlight, and a lot of people repeated the same thing, this is not anti-LGBTQ. This is not anti-any community. This is not anti-any groups. But apparently one thing that we noticed tonight, everybody that came over here and stood for the books and supporting these books to be in our libraries, 90% of them are teachers in our schools. Mm-hmm. They are paid by our tax-paying dollars. Mm-hmm. They are speaking the same narratives, which proves to me there is a rumor yesterday that there was a note that was sent out to them to come, our email, that to come and speak about these books to be in our libraries. We are paying for their salaries. We love them. I have 5 kids. And all of them, they go to Dearborn public schools. I expect every single employee or district employee to take a stand on this, at least look at the books and see what are the sexual explicit contexts are saying.
They know what to say.
This is not about any group or any community. We are talking about porns in our schools. We stop sexualizing our kids.
Talk
Thank you.
about it, bitch. Yeah.
Next speaker is Jamal Al-Jahmi of Dearborn. I'd like to speak to the board on books in the libraries.
The teachers in cahoots. It's all part of the agenda.
Next speaker is Matthew.
I stand here fascinated by what I'm watching tonight. As we watch the school board construct a narrative that is completely false. Many people stand here and say, we want to protect our parental rights. And this is nothing about the teachers. They support the teachers. And they say, we are not opposing LGBTQ rights. And then yet other people come up here to support the books solely for the purpose of LGBTQ rights. Mm-hmm. And yet, as a school board, you allowed someone to stand here for 3 minutes and disparage the Muslim faith.
Talk about that. Hey, let's talk about it.
You did not stop it.
That's a white man talking about it.
You allowed another person to come here in front of the media for 3 minutes and incite the crowd. President McDonald, you did nothing to stop it.
Trying to make them look guilty.
On Monday, you shut down this audience and these parents from speaking. And some people have talked about it, and I will remind you. MCL 380.10 states it is the natural, fundamental right of parents and legal guardians to determine and direct the care, teaching, and education of their children. Fundamental right of the parent to direct the teaching of their children. The statute then says the public schools of this state serve the needs of the pupils. by cooperating with the pupil's parents and legal guardians to develop the pupil's intellectual capabilities and vocational skills. And you failed every parent in the way you violated their fundamental rights on Monday to speak and the way you've treated this issue. The fundamental rights of the parents is a huge issue right now in this country and across this state.
Yep.
The ability of the parents to direct to you what they want taught in these schools. And some people stand up here and say, we shouldn't ban these books because no one has ever checked them out. That doesn't mean people haven't read them or students haven't read them in school.
Stupid ass.
What you're doing right now in this state, in this board, is over-sexualizing children. And you're doing it for political reasons. And you have an attorney general right now in this state, Dana Nessel, who says she wants to put a drag queen in every school. And you're allowing it to happen.
Dana!
I say to you, it's time to stop with the political nonsense. Thank you.
Dana! I know you lying, bitch. Oh, it's a baby. It's a little boy.
Hi, my name is Ali Shajira. I am a student of Salana School. I'm pleased to be here. I have some words and thoughts I would like to share.
You look like you might be 10.
There's an Arabic translator and other language translators so others can understand what those meetings are about. I think it's best if there is websites and other language letting others know whatever being said or decisions made by the board. I believe that instead of teaching us things that will hurt our feelings and our parents' beliefs, we should be taught subjects that we will benefit from, like technology, computer skills, languages like Arabic, Spanish, French, and other things like that. We need to learn what we will need in the future and what will build America. Parents should be told
big up.
what will be given to their children, especially if it's against their religion and not okay with Christians, Muslims, and other religious beliefs. So parents can have trust when their parents are gone for 7 hours a day.
Talk about it. Talk about it, little boy. Okay.
Lastly, please think about us. We are the children of this generation and future parents of more children. I hope our education doesn't relate to politics. Please let us live our childhood. Thank you for letting me.
Well, who wrote that? I don't know who wrote it, but fuck it.
Next speaker is Mr. Wadi Azaba of Dearborn. Would like to speak to the board on books.
Assalamu alaikum ayyuha al-Muslimun.
Salaikum salam.
And good evening, members of the Board
of
Education.
It's the homie. I like him.
The front end of this issue is explicit sexual material made accessible or taught to students, which is illegal in Michigan law section 722.675.
Come through.
Titled Disseminating, Exhibiting, or Displaying Sexually Explicit Matter to Minors. Let's be very clear that at the core of this issue is an ideological battle. And it seems like, and I hope I'm mistaken in my assessment, that some members of this board have inclined towards an insane, liberal LGBT ideology that holds many fanatical views, but none so deranged as the idea that pornography is good and students should have access to pornographic material in school as part of education.
Right.
And I don't accuse you of holding these stances. However, the way that you've handled it so far is somewhat doubting. The book challenging process you presented is, I'm sorry, a joke. Because any pornographic books on any sexuality, whether on homosexuality, incest, pedophilia, zoophilia, or other forms of sexual perversions, is illegal and should never been on our shelves to start with. And what's extremely upsetting is that people like Abdullah Hamoud and the lady, what's her name, Rashida or something, and the other goblins influencing them want to propagate this as an issue. Quote, he says, children having the tools to create their own future. This is pure shenanigans. Because you wouldn't allow materials on incest, zoophilia, or pedophilia for the same reason. So this is not about, quote, he says our library is serving a gateway to knowledge, imagination. This is ridiculous. This is about where we draw the line and the moral corruption that the majority of us in Dearborn, frankly and proudly, don't accept. This is about the deliberate targeting of students, This is about the deliberate targeting of students with certain toxic, indecent content of an insane ideology that students must not be around. And the reality is, the proponents of LGBT liberal ideology here and elsewhere are fine with democracy as long as people vote for their fanatical views, and as long as it supports their wicked agendas. If people vote against their views, the liberal authority blocks the democratic process and imposes the LGBT liberal positions on the populace.
Talk about it.
They are Hitler. They are the oppressors. They are radical extremists.
Yeah. She called them Hitler.
Ladies and gentlemen, members of the Board of Education, if democracy matters, we are the majority here in Dearborn. Let us draw the boundaries on appropriateness.
Talk about
it. And I urge you not to fuel the tensions and to truly support the majority decisions of families, students, and parents in Dearborn regarding what is appropriate content to allow or teach in our schools. And as far as we're concerned, our unity here is a blessing from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And through this evil, we're able to know who to vote in or out.
Next speaker is Ms. Kathy Martin of Dearborn Heights. Would like to speak to the board on welcoming all our students.
May I also please remind people again, do not use names.
What? I mean, don't use names. Fuck you. Oh, don't say y'all name, bitch. That's why they laugh. No.
I'm Kathy Martin. I've worked in Dearborn for 20 years.
She said don't say names.
As educators, our main role is, one of our main roles is to advocate for students. In advocating for students, we also advocate for parental collaboration.
Huh?
And we want parents involved in their own education. So I'm really happy to see so many people have turned out. And I hope to see every one of my students' parents at parent-teacher conferences this year.
Oh, she trying to drag.
Becoming an educator is a calling. If you ask most educators, many will tell you that they knew their career path at a very young age. I personally knew by the time I was in second grade.
What?
We enter the field knowing that we are in a lifetime commitment to young people.
She's shaking like a motherfucker.
We were called to enter a field where we are paid less than professionals with the same level of education. We were called to enter a field that takes us away from our own children so we can tend to your children.
She trying to
enter a field
she getting
where
spicy.
We are underappreciated and overworked. In addition to teaching reading, writing, math, and history, we teach kids how to get along,
and how to circle jerk,
and how to be good citizens in a democracy. This is a labor of love. We do this because we have been called to be here. Our career is our purpose. We signed up for the good, bad, and ugly. We did not sign up to be political pawns. I can't stand idly by while public education is vilified for political gain. I've seen a quote stating that students who are loved at home come to school to learn, and students who aren't come to school to be loved. We are here to teach, love, and accept all children, all staff, and all families. The only way for a child to learn and grow is to first feel safe. And I promise your child will be safe in my presence, regardless of their background or family structure.
Nobody wants to hear that.
Public school is where every single person who walks in
it's literally a corner of
for.
10 people.
When we are safe and cared for, when the kids are safe and cared for, they will flourish and grow into happy, productive adults.
Okay, you didn't have to say shit, bitch.
Next speaker is Mr. Muhammad Shazra of Dearborn. Would like to speak to the board on books.
Welcome up, Muhammad.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah.
Alaikum.
I think so. All of us here is speaking English. Just some family at home, they don't understand English. Because that, I will speak Arabic. And I will try to translate to English.
Okay.
It's a family, should be laughing. It's not funny.
The teacher's back there laughing.
I have a question for you. Mr. Hassan, you speaking Arabic, Adil, you speaking Arabic. You can translate to him later. Maybe because we need that. نحتاج أولا إلى قانون يجرب تدريس الكتب هذه في المدارس. لماذا المدارس تمام؟ وما الهدف منها حتى تستهدف بالكتب؟ هل اكتملت المكتبات بالكتب المفيدة حتى تضيفوا كتب مخلة وغير عقلانية؟
I'm a clap too. Shit.
وهل في قانون يحدد العمر لقراءة هذه الكتب؟ الأهالي يحتاجون يحافظوا على أولادهم. هل تفكرون بمشاعر أبنائنا أولا وبناتنا والأهالي؟ هل تفكرون بقلق الأهالي عند ذهابهم إلى المدارس؟ أبناء وبنات يدرس الأبناء في المنازل ويعلم في المنازل على شيء، وأنتم تريدوا أن تعلمهم على الفساد، وهذا لا يتطابق، وقد يسبب مشاكل عند الأبناء واضطرابات التعليم. هل تدعمكم أو ترشيكم بعض المؤسسات حتى تبيعوا أبناء الجالية؟ إذا كان شراءكم بالمال تبيعوا، فنحن نعرف لمن نصوت. أخواتي في الداخل وخلف الشاشات، نحن عاصرنا هذه الفئة الذي أمامنا، فلا تضحوا بأبنائكم لكي يفوز شخص، سواء كان من الحزب الديمقراطي أو الحزب الجمهوري، حتى تدرسوه جيدا، لأن فوز شخص قد يخسركم خسارة أبنائكم كامل. فاختاروا الشخص المناسب في المكان المناسب. أولادنا كأمريكيين بيض وسود وعرب، كلنا ضد هذا الكتب. والسلام عليكم.
I think he said, if America don't fuck around with the heirs and what we talking about, fuck y'all. That's what I think he said.
Is Mr. Hamid Fadl of Detroit would like to speak to the board on books.
Hooey.
Next speaker is Brandy Ahmed, would like to speak to the board on community support and of Dearborn.
Is you there, Brandy?
Good evening, board members. My name is Brandy Ahmed. I'm a resident here in Dearborn, and I have 3 children here in the Dearborn School District. I'd like to start off, I'd like to thank you all for sitting up here and taking the heat and the criticism. It takes a very thick skin to do that.
They don't have a choice.
I appreciate that. I'd like to thank our mayor, Mr. Abdullah Hamoud, who has made it very clear that no matter what, he will protect books at all costs, and every book will remain in our libraries here in the city of Dearborn.
Did he say that?
So thank you for that.
He said that?
I'm not going to really speak too much about the book banning here within the school district. What I really want to focus on is a lot of our LGBTQ members in our community, including students, are watching. And, a lot of people are saying, we're not making it about them. We're not trying to reject them. We're not canceling them out. But we've had people stand up here and say, I am a gay person. And you hear the boos and you hear some of the explicits, and it's heartbreaking. You cannot say that it is not about that. And so really my message today, and I'm going to read it. Also, I'd like to give a shout out to our Dearborn High School marching band who got all ones this week in festival. So let's recognize that as a positive here in our district.
No, bitch. No.
My message and comment today is for the LGBT community and students. Like I said, many have said that this isn't about them, but seeing signs like leave your dirty books in the closet and other hateful remarks that have been made here and online, and I say we as a community because we are a community. We have all the local news stations here. We have national reporters here. They look at us as we, Dearborn, one community. So I will say we when I am speaking in regards to all of us.
Girl,
we clearly are still witnessing and displaying dehumanizing behaviors of hate and unacceptance. Some are loud and proud, and some are just outright mean. And then we have some that are really trying to look at both sides and listen. I have a family with multiple LGBTQ members of it.
I bet you
And
do. You liar.
we're proud of that, but I've watched a lot of people struggle, and I've watched people that I love struggle.
Oh, she's gonna cry.
And to the point of suicide. It is devastating.
They're
And so what
killing
I want to say
themselves 'cause
to
you
our
don't wanna hear
LGBT
about
community
them circle
members who are
jerking in the
listening, to the
jar.
students who are listening and watching this, you are seen. You are important. You matter. You have worth. And I encourage them to continue to be authentically and peacefully themselves. Thank you.
Get the fuck out of here, dumbass.
Next
This bitch is
speaker
stupid.
is Joel
Yeah, boo her stupid
of
ass.
Dearborn would like to speak to the board on transgender and queers in DPS.
Hi, I'm JoJo.
Oh,
I'm an
Lord.
alumni of DPS, and I started working
It's giving
at
lesbian.
school, running a before and after school
What's
program.
my pronoun?
I am queer and transgender.
I
More
know,
specifically,
trans.
I am non-binary, and I use they/them pronouns.
I knew
Well,
it.
this is a huge part of
I
my overall
knew it.
identity, and I'm very proud to be queer and transgender. It is not my entire identity. When you are young, it is incredibly difficult to be unable
She's
to put names to
transgender.
what you're feeling and experiencing. It was only very recently I was
Get her
able
ass
to
out of
put
here.
the name to the cold, lonely, and isolating feeling I get as gender dysphoria. Had I been aware of the books and resources available to students in the libraries, I have no doubt I would have had an easier time accepting myself and relating.
Please allow the speaker to speak.
Being LGBTQ plus is not a choice, and it is so hard to have your mind stuck in a body you feel isn't your own while people hate you for the very thing out of your control. People who don't know the first thing about you, only that you're different from them, so you must be evil.
Girl.
I honestly don't want to be here, but I know what it's like to have been a queer and trans
Lay
student
them.
and now a staff member. I personally
Lay them
found a way
up,
to deal
queen.
with the blatant transphobia I faced as a student through my peers and staff members, even though I still deal with it on a daily basis. I refuse to let other children be traumatized in the same way I was. I need to fight for the queer and transgender kids because I was one of them and I didn't have anyone in the
Where
system
are
fighting
the
for me.
children that
I'm
are
19
queer?
and I'm so tired I
You
feel it in my
19?
bones, but I will not give in to the hatred. We are here, we are queer, and we're not going anywhere. LGBTQ plus people will keep existing in the world whether or not you want to erase our existences. And if you take these books out of schools where children are sent to learn, you are aiding and endangering LGBTQ youth's lives.
What?
I stand firm in what I believe and I will not back down. It's as simple as not buying mustard if you don't like it. If you don't want to read it, don't check it out. If these books are banned, the only other alternative would be to turn to the internet, a wildly vast place full of misinformation and bigotry. These books
What?
written by queer and transgender authors for queer and transgender kids are the most reliable and safe option. My question is, why would you take this resource from kids who need it? Don't pretend you're all doing this for anyone except yourselves. You aren't protecting your children. You're all...
Thank you for your comments.
Next speaker
You
is
aren't
Abdul
protecting
Nasser
your
Najad
children?
of Dearborn would like to speak to the board on book
Hell no.
selection.
While we're waiting for that speaker, I just want to say one thing real quickly. We are all human up here. We're doing the best we can. We
Blah,
make mistakes.
blah,
Please
blah.
understand that.
Blah, blah, blah.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Blah, blah, blah.
First of all, I want to thank the little boy here for what he said, because that's why we are here. We are here for this. We are here for our kids. And when I say selection book, I didn't say banning books. So we are here to select the right books for our kids. We're not here to just ban any book for no reason. There are reasons to remove these books from the shelves. And you guys have to understand the fact that it's your responsibility to do that. Not mine, not them. We're here because you guys killed to do that. You're talking about revising a process. It's been there for years, but why we're here? The process has failed. You don't need to enhance that process. Get rid of that process, come up with a complete new process. That's for the parents. When you say, oh, we revise that process, this is going to be good. No, we all know that this is a trash. You're just now trying to calm the parents with this nonsense talking. We are not targeting any group. I'm talking about myself, that I'm not targeting any group. I was sent by my family here to get education because they know back home US has the best education in the world. education.
So they say.
Science, physics, math, to enhance the brain of the kids. They did not send me to look to some books like, I can't say, because it's, when I discuss with my daughter, she's gonna have to ask me, Dad, why these books are on the shelf for us? How can I justify that to her?
Exactly.
You guys are parents.
They think the kids are stupid.
And I know you guys taking a lot of heat for that.
Shit.
I know it's your job, but it's a lot of heat because now it's becoming a national issue. But please, do not undermine any parents. It is not your job to undermine parents. Your job is listen to them. And the last thing I want to say, it feels sad to me that we are up against teachers. No, we're not. Who's trying to put up the parents against teachers? That's stupid.
They try.
My mom is a teacher. She is now principal. She's a teacher for 30 or 40 years. And I respect teachers. So I feel bad when all the teachers coming up here is just trying to defend and then point at parents. We work together.
Next speaker is Jamal Hayafi of Dearborn, would like to speak to the board on books.
Good evening, board. I think after 3 hours of listening to the parents, what else can we say? The board today sent an email and they basically admitted or confirmed that such material should not be included in our school media center. And they also stated the law number, MCL Act 33, section, until the end. So you believe in that, okay? And you send it to us. And you hear the parents, the majority of the parents, saying that we don't want these books. So you stated and reminded us of the law. You heard the parents. Tomorrow morning, start moving these books from the libraries. Start working. That's it. That's what we need from you.
Right, it's not working.
Now, last Monday, some of you talked about the opt-out form. I looked at the opt-out form. It's either my kids should be banned from all the books, and that's unrealistic, or I should state the title and the author of the book that they should not check. So I should do your job and check more than 500,000 books to do that? Now that makes sense? That doesn't make any sense. Why didn't you classify these books and move them out? Move them out. This is very clear from what we heard. This is not a religious matter. It's not against a group. It's not against the teachers. Okay? This is us, loyal to our kids. Not to the right and not to the left. Not to any political party. We're not here for a political issue. But we will remember your names when August and November of every year comes.
Talk about
I will remember your names every August,
year,
every November comes. If this matter is not,
you will never be back in office.
Then I'll make sure, my vote's not for you, and I will be active for that. Thank you.
Next speaker is Christina Camaro, No City, would like to speak to the board on how this harms the community and loyalty of what school board is to the community.
What?
Yes, thank you for having me. And I speak here in support of many of my good friends from the city of Dearborn, also with parents, and I'm speaking as a parent and as an educator. As an educator, I have seen throughout our school system how our students are struggling to read. They're struggling to do math. Our students come to school for college and career readiness. Kids do not come to school, and back up, parents do not send their kids to school to explore their sexuality.
Period.
That is not why people send their children to school. And also, we as a society have to love and be kind to everybody. Absolutely. All of us, even many of us who stand in agreement on this issue of parents' rights, disagree on certain issues. But it is a false narrative that parents who do not want their children exposed to graphic sex acts somehow hate somebody. That is nonsense.
Talk about it.
And when I look at what our kids are exposed to in the media, the last thing they need to do at school is learn how to sexually pleasure themselves.
Man.
Also,
talk about
I haven't heard the comment made recently, but many of the speakers here disparage the parents here as though they're being held captive by some right-wing agenda. Like the parents in this room are too stupid, too ignorant to come to their own conclusions, like they don't have their own set of morality to not want their kids exposed to this content.
Okay, girl. Speak on it. I like
I'm
it.
speaking as a parent. We, the parents of America, are tired of the schools turning into social and political machines instead of institutions of higher learning. As we are watching the students of America slip behind on a global scale to compete academically, this is not the time for more sexualization. And also, parents have a right to determine what their kids are exposed to. I think it is absolutely unacceptable for people in education to think that they know what's best for somebody else's child. God gave me my child, not the school district. And I guarantee you that every parent agrees.
Talk about it.
And every parent has a right to object to the things their kids are being exposed to. But there is a breaking point. And the breaking point is this. The fundamental existence of school is not to learn about sexual pleasure, not to learn about new sex acts. The fundamental purpose of school is to prepare our kids to be successful adults who can go off and have careers. And it is up to every parent to then teach their kids morality. It is out of the place for the school to do it, and I reject any notion that parents here are filled with hate or bigotry. The parents don't want their kids sexualized. If other people want to sexualize their kids, that's their business, not our.
Okay. Let's give her a round of applause.
Fuad al-Badani of Dearborn would like to speak to the board on dirty books. Fuad al-Badani. Next speaker is Jeff Davis of Dearborn would like to speak to the board about sexual materials in children curricula.
Jeff.
Good evening.
Hi, Jeff.
And good evening, school board and teachers and parents. If I could, nice to lower the temperature a little bit.
By doing what, Jeff?
I'm very thankful for this city and for the schools. My kids graduated from schools here, and I now have grandchildren in the school. 2 of my children are educators, although not in this city. And we need education. It's very, very important.
Uh-huh.
And teachers have a really big job to do. And it's already been mentioned, look at all the subjects that have to be taught and learned well.
Not sex.
Reading, writing, arithmetic, science, technology, and the art of getting along with other people. That's very, very important. And as this lady very well said, it's not about teaching them sexuality.
Mm-hmm.
That's not really the duty of the schools.
We was wondering where you was going with
Teachers
this.
shouldn't be made to be responsible to teach sexuality. They're not authorized to do it, and they're not actually able to do it. And so let's keep that out of the schools. Some educators and education boards mistakenly think it's their duty to raise other people's children, especially when it comes to sexuality and gender identity. In some cities, schools are even doing things that their parents don't agree to and don't know about. When the children come to school, they're helping the child dress in a different way, according to a different sex.
Call them a different name
when they're at school, and then change back when they go home. Now, God forbid that should happen here, but it's happening in real cities, in real schools, in America,
Ohio.
And teachers mistakenly think it's their job to do that, and they are not. It's not their job, and they're not helping children, and they're not really doing the responsibility that we've authorized them to do, although some people think so. Now, my daughter and her husband are both teachers. They have 2 little boys, my grandsons. They love their children very much. We love them, and they love their students. But they know the difference between their students and their children. And they can say, these are my kids, and they mean these are my students, and they care for them, and they love them. And when they say, these are my kids, and they're their children, they love them. But there's a difference. They send those children back to their parents, and they're not undermining the parents' tutelage and the parents' raising of them. So I just think this is a fundamental idea. I know it's like I've been in a time machine back in 1995 in another city, very similar to this. this kind of thing went on, and it's only gotten worse. So we really need to rethink this whole thing. It is not the responsibility of the school boards and the teachers to raise children in issues of sexuality. Thank you.
Next speaker is Abdullah Ahmed of Dearborn. Would like to speak to the board on pushing sexual ideology on teens and preteens.
No, they ready for him.
Abdullah Ahmed.
Where you at?
Either side would work.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
And for anyone who does not speak Arabic, this means may peace be upon you. Keyword peace. Don't misconstrue our religion and culture. We are here for peace of mind. My name is Abdullah Ahmed, and I grew up in Dearborn schools and lived in Dearborn my whole life. I think I can say on behalf of the majority of our community that we don't care whether the pornographic photos and erotic speech are homosexual, lesbian, or straight. There's pornography in any books available to kids and teens. We want that out, gay or not.
Yes.
And to one person earlier saying that porn and books is the American way, keep that phony American way in your home, not in our communities. Parents have responsibilities and try to upbring their children in the best way possible. And they send their kids to school, which is supposed to be a safe haven. Come to find out, these books and schools are teaching kids that to make decisions they are not capable of making. You aren't their parents, and if parents want to show this kind of disgusting material to their kids, that is their choice to be made at home, not at school.
And illegal.
And everybody makes mistakes, but mistakes are quickly resolved, or at least a great effort is given to make things right. Why are we split in the first place? Does the LGBT community show porn to their kids growing up? I don't think so. As a married man and inshallah a parent in the future, this scares me. I do not accept this, and Dearborn should not accept this.
Simply put, young man.
Shadi Maori of Dearborn would like to speak to the board about the current situation.
Whoop. Abdullah.
Assalamu alaikum, everyone. Good evening.
Shadi.
First and foremost, I'd like to ask everyone to just hold the clapping till the end, just for all the speakers in general. I'd like to offer you guys a student perspective from my opinion, as I'm not a parent, but I am a former graduate of Dearborn Public Schools. And actually, this was my middle school style. Being here just brings back
I know it was
memories.
middle school.
Aside the point, the reason why many of us are here today isn't about censorship. As Americans living in this country, we're well aware of the First Amendment, the freedom of speech, religion, expression. We're here to talk about the explicit sexual content in certain books in Dearborn Public Schools.
Okay.
Children are at school for almost about 8 hours a day, which is practically half their day.
He's nervous.
Not counting the time that they're asleep. So I would say that a school is a child's second home, besides from their actual home. This is where children are taught. That's where they grow up. And as a student, growing up in Dearborn Public Schools, I was never exposed to this type of sexuality. I took 2 sex ed classes, once in
Are you about to say that this book is necessary because you gave...
pretty much straightforward.
He better not say that.
Talked about safe sex, HIV, etc.
And that was too much.
But to hear that there are certain books in a school community which I'm prideful to call home is honestly disappointing.
Oh, okay.
And to the school board, I hope you guys can see where the community is coming from. This isn't an attack to you guys directly.
They don't care.
Or to the teachers, because we are well aware of all the hard work that you guys all do.
It's an agenda.
This is just about the sexualization of children, the exposing of children to this type of content. We are aware that this content is on the internet and everywhere, but we're talking about just these books specifically. This isn't an attack to the LGBTQ community or
you want your kid to go home and Google
like
it?
I said, this is America.
Or
it's a
would
free
you
country.
rather have them read about it in the library?
Thank you, everyone.
Next speaker is Adam.
You might be able to get through one more.
I'm
coming back and talk about the little girls.
It's not as clear, but I think it's Miller Bond.
That's what it says. Miller Bond
of Dearborn would like to speak to the board on the review and removal of books from the school libraries.
My remote is broke, bitch.
Adam Miller Bond.
Hello. Remote. Hello. I just put new batteries in this bitch. Hello?
They're not here. Okay.
I'm in the 6th grade. These books are influencing us youth in a negative way. These books are unacceptable and inappropriate for people of all ages, let alone the youngsters. Their presence alone in the library affecting the youth of this community, making the library an uncomfortable, disgraceful, and unethical place to be. These unethical books do not benefit us in developing a stronger character with integrity and honest, although they do the opposite. What is the Central the library to you? The Central Library to me is a respected place and a sanctuary to better myself. These unethical books are mostly in our library.
Not right there.
And most of us students go to the library as a safe haven. And just knowing that these books are in our environment is disturbing. And we students do not feel comfortable in the library knowing these pedophilia-like books are present in the heart of our community. What can we replace these meaningless books with?
Who wrote that for me?
We can replace these books with positive and beneficial books we can actually learn from and positively influenced and educated by. We cannot let these books affect the youth of our community. We are not anti-Semitic nor hateful people towards any group of people. We respectfully request the board to remove these books from the library and end this crisis, and that's a right.
All right.
Next speaker is Muhsin Hawaishi of Dearborn Heights. Would like to address the board on the issue of the topic.
Sorry.
Muhsin Al-Hawaishi.
Is that what he said?
Next speaker is Rawan Haidar of Dearborn. Would like to speak to the board on parental ban of books.
Let's do it.
16 to 19 years old. That is the age range when most young girls are in high school or just starting college. This also happens to be the age range in which females are 4 times more likely than the general population to be victims of sexual assault, attempted rape, or even rape itself. 16 to 19. This also happens to be the major topic of the novels Push and The Lovely Bones, which are 2 books that are currently under review. How about another one? It is estimated that every 1 in 6 individuals identifies as being a part of the LGBTQ+ community. That means for every classroom of 30 students, there are 5 of those students who are part of the community. The novels This Book is Gay and All Boys Aren't Blue, which are also currently under review, gives real-life insight and a breakdown of what it means to grow up not identifying as a straight individual. These books have been deemed pornographic, against good Muslim values, or as being set out to carry on some sort of homosexual agenda. Many parents here tonight are under the assumption that the only resolution is to ban them. However, the First Amendment is not dead. The First Amendment is not dead. The truth is that the statistics that I have discussed here do not exempt the Dearborn community. As strong and as united as this community has proved itself to be, there are still young females amongst us and throughout our own community who are suffering or have suffered at the hands of their abusers. And despite the strong religious presence within this community, that does not take away the fact that there are still young adults out here in the Dearborn public school system who are struggling to come to terms with their sexuality. For better or for worse, books are the gateway to independent, critical thought, imagination, and understanding of differing experiences. And to force a ban on books that will 100% benefit students who identify and resonate with the themes we've talked about tonight is an act of selfishness and intolerance.
Nah, they done got on my last fucking nerve. I'm a rape victim. How the fuck is reading a book about being raped in intense motherfucking detail gonna help me as a rape fucking victim get better, bitch? These motherfuckers are crazy. I'm coming back because we gonna talk about some other crazy shit. I'm on a tangent. Let's go, motherfucker.